y'all, so if you need a step-by-step tutorial on how to get a flawless face like this, then I got the perfect series for you. Welcome to my blending series. So in this series, I'm gonna definitely give you step-by-step on how to create like the perfect soft glam. I thought that would be the easiest look to start off with. Of course, if y'all want some more series, just let me know down in the comments. But I felt like a soft glam would be the perfect place to start because it's so simple and it's so easy. So if you're interested, keep watching. Okay, so for the eyebrows, you're gonna need a few tools, right? You're going to need a spoolie brush. I have a double-ended spoolie brush that has, of course, the spoolie, but it also has an angled brush. So you're gonna need both of these. If you don't have like a spoolie brush like this, then you'll just need an angled brush as well for your eyebrows. And then you're gonna need like a little flat concealer brush like this to conceal the eyebrows. Okay, and then you have your choice of different things as far as like you can use pomade to fill in your eyebrows, you could use an eyebrow pencil, you can use just brow freeze if you just like the like laminated eyebrow look, or you can use a powder. Now I don't have an eyebrow powder, but eyeshadow works just as well if you want to, you know, if you don't have an eyebrow powder and you prefer like the powdered eyebrow look, right? So that's what you'll need for your eyebrows. So let's get into it. Now, me personally, I always like to start with, if you're a beginner, I feel like you should start with clean eyebrows just because it may be a little easier for you. However, if you do have like, if you're in between like waxes or threadings or, you know, whatever you do to your eyebrows, I'm gonna show you how to clean that up, okay? But first things first, now me, I like to use, lately, I've been using eyeshadow and I've been liking my eyebrows black. So as y'all can see, I've been dipping into that really, really well. So that you're gonna follow the natural arch of your eyebrow, right? I always start at the beginning and then, like I said, just follow the natural arch of my eyebrow, right? And if you don't get this perfect, please do not worry because you are going to clean it up. That's what I forgot to show y'all. You're gonna also need concealer. Okay, my apologies. That's what you need the concealer brush for, because you also need concealer, which is how I'm gonna show you how to clean up your eyebrows, right? If you don't have your eyebrows done at the moment, basically. Okay, so I showed y'all, I went with the natural arch of my eyebrow. And I'm just gonna do the same thing on top, right? And I'm gonna connect the tails at the bottom, the top and the bottom tail together, you see? Now, some people like their eyebrows a little thicker, some people like their eyebrows a little thinner. Me personally, I like a pretty decent eyebrow. Like not too thick, but not too thin. And I just flick, once I get to like this part of my eyebrow, like the inner corner, I just flick my brush up and down like that. So when you do your eyebrows, you wanna make sure it lines up like here. Like you're gonna place your brush on top of your nostril like this, right? And then also you're gonna go like this because you want your tail to end where your eye ends, right? At an angle. So basically you make a, I guess you could say triangle, but not really, with your eyebrow, right? So line it up with your nostril like this. And then you do the eyebrow, like the end of the eyebrow at a angle like this. Ooh, April. Ooh. Okay, let's do the other one. So that turned out pretty good for me. I think that's pretty good. You can always fix it, you know, however. So again, we're gonna follow, well actually, let me show you this because I don't think I showed you. Spoolie your eyebrow up like so. And then follow your natural brow. Okay, so this line was a little thicker than this one, if y'all can tell, but I'm gonna show y'all how to clean that up. But follow your natural brow and do the same up top. And again, I just flick my eyebrow or flick my brush upwards like this to give it a more natural look. And so they won't be so boxy in the front. Okay, so this eyebrow, as you can tell, is thicker than this eyebrow. However, we're gonna fix it. That's where the concealer comes into play. Now, I'm using the Makeup by Mario Surreal Concealer in the shade 420. I'm just gonna take a little bit and rub it across the brush like this. And then what I'm gonna do is follow that natural arch again, right? Now, some people take like a more skin tone concealer on the top, but I just use the same concealer because it just, like, I don't mind that. But if you want a more skin tone concealer on top and you want like a more highlighted underneath, you could just use like a lighter concealer underneath the eyebrow, and then on top you can use a more skin tone concealer if you wish, but the same color just works for me. And so all right, so when I do the bottom of my eyebrow, I take my brush like this, but when I do the top, I pull it like that. So on the bottom of my eyebrow, I trace it like this way, and on the top of my eyebrow, I trace it this way. Same thing on this side, and I'm gonna show y'all how I fix like when my eyebrow is too thick. So again, I hold my brush like this for the bottom. Again, follow the natural brow, the natural arch rather. And then I lay it flat like this across the top. And still follow that natural. So see now, and they're not exactly twins, it's okay. More like, you know, close sisters. But yeah, that's how I get my perfect eyebrow, right? You take a small, like, fluffy brush like this to blend that out. I always blend the concealer on top of my eyebrow up, like so. And then when I blend out the bottom, I just basically blend it into my eyelid. Also, one thing you can do is, like, you can kind of bring the brush to give it a more natural look. Y'all see how that looks? I just kind of take the concealer and just kind of pop it into the top of that brush as well. I'm sorry, in the top of that brow as well. Very lightly though. You don't want to be too heavy with that. Very lightly though, right? To give it a more natural look. So y'all see? That's it for the brows. I'm gonna show y'all just a basic like soft glam because I don't want to overcomplicate it, especially if you're a beginner. So I'm gonna just show you a basic soft glam look. One of my favorite ones to do that, honestly, like, I can create a lot of looks, but this is the one that I prefer every day, honestly, right? I'm gonna use the Rumor Base 6 today, which is a brown shade, okay? For the sake of the video, I'm gonna put it on this palette so y'all can see. Okay, so how I pretty much do mine, I typically put it on my eyelid, but like I said, for the sake of the video, I'm gonna put it on this palette. I use that same brush that I use for my eyebrows to just dip into it like this. And then just dab it onto my eyelid, right? Like this. And I kind of marry that concealer from cleaning out my eyebrows and that together. And I know you can't really tell that I'm putting anything on my eyelids, but it's okay. Because the color that I'm gonna put on there is brown too. So again, I'm just taking the rest of what was on there and just putting it on my lid. And you don't need a lot, okay? You don't need a lot at all. And these are some bases that I highly recommend. I really do enjoy the formula. It doesn't crack or anything like that, or crease rather, so yeah. Going into a very neutral palette. This is the same palette that I just used for my eyebrows. This is the Morphe 25A Copper Spice palette. I always dip into this shade here. I don't know if y'all can see that, but this shade here is the one that I typically always dip into because that's my favorite one. And so you're gonna need like a dense, fluffy brush like this. This is a more denser one. And I just go into the palette like so. Right, I got a good amount on there. I tap it on the back of there. Then I just put that on my lid, right? All over my lid like this. You really want to make sure you pack it on there. And that's just basically what I do. And so I don't know if you all can tell, but it's like a harsh line of demarcation there. So I'm gonna show y'all how to blend that out here in just a moment. And if you want to see like a cut crease, if you want me to give y'all like a more detailed cut crease so that you don't have to do just like a basic eye, leave a comment below and I'll do a video like that for you guys. And like I said, just packing that on there, just dipping into that color. I'm just now hitting pan on this, and that's surprising because I always use this. Okay. And I don't know about y'all, but I love hitting pan on my like my eyeshadow palettes and stuff. I don't know, they just give me a thrill. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a more fluffy brush. The brush that I used earlier, it was a Morphe brush. It was the, oh, this one doesn't have a number on there. So this was the Morphe, that was a Morphe brush, but this is the Morphe M504 brush, okay? And so I just take that and just blend it out. And you can be very light with it, especially since it's your eye area. And your eye, the skin around your eye is very delicate. So you want to be very gentle when you do that, okay? And so I just blend that in to give it a more natural look. So you can see the difference between here and here. Now it's more, it looks more blended, right? And I just do small circles, like, what is it, counterclockwise? I don't know, y'all, but it's the opposite way of the inner corner. That's how I do it, okay? And like I said, be very gentle because these are your eyes. And yeah, the skin around your eyes are very sensitive. Okay, so that's it for like the eyeshadow. I'm gonna show y'all how to do a small wing too. You don't have to, but me particularly, I like a wing liner when I do just a regular like soft eye look. So I'm gonna show y'all how to do a wing liner. And for this, you could use like a regular felt tip. I like felt tip better, but you have like felt tip liners. You have the gel liners, which this one is a really good one too. This is also really good and it's very affordable. You could also use like a this isn't necessarily a felt tip liner, liquid liner, but this is a it is liquid liner. But my choice of liner today is going to be this Maybelline, what is it? It's the Maybelline Hyper Easy Brush Tip Liner. And y'all, so far I have been in love with this. It's like one of my favorite new liners. Like, since this is the beginner video, I'm gonna show y'all how to get the perfect eyeliner for beginners, like especially wing liner, right? Now I'm not gonna do a crazy wing liner. It's just a standard wing liner, but you take a piece of tape and you put it at an angle, right? The angle of your eye. Like so, like that. And so I typically start like at the bottom here, and you just follow that tape. That's what it's there for, as a guide for you. You go up as high as you wanted me. I'm just gonna go this high. Then you bring it down. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to be quiet so I can concentrate. But you bring it down like that, and then you just fill it in. Easy peasy. And you can always smoke that out with some eyeliner if you like, but we're gonna take it easy. We're gonna take it easy. And again on this side, bring it up. You just follow your guide, which is going to be your tape. Then you bring it down. Like so, like this, to the inner corner of your eye. And yeah, that's how you do that. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And I'm gonna show y'all like the results. So let me take this tape off. See? Perfect wing liner. I'm gonna show y'all lashes, but I'm not gonna do it as of right now because I like to put my lashes on last, and it's only because I don't like the powders and stuff to get into my lashes, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's that for eyeshadow. Just blending your eyeshadow. Again, the brushes that you'll need, because I didn't really give y'all like the utensils for this one, but you're gonna need like a dense brush if you're just doing like the one eyeshadow look, which is what I showed y'all today. Like I said, if you want to see a more like detailed cut crease or something, just leave me a comment and I'll definitely make a video for you guys. But I use a dense brush like this, and then I use a fluffy brush like so to blend it out, right? The dense brush is to pack it on, and the fluffy brush is to blend it out. Okay, cool. Okay, so moving on to face. Let's talk primer. So I always double prime. Today I'm going to use the Refy Beauty Glow and Sculpt primer. I'm also going to use the Danessa Myricks Water Powder Serum primer. And I always double prime because my T-zone does get really oily. So that's only where I apply the water powder serum, but I do put the Refy Beauty Glow and Sculpt all over my face. So let's do that. And just rub that into the skin. I'm gonna take that Danessa Myricks Water Powder Serum. Again, I just put in my T-zone, which honestly, you could give your primer a few moments to dry down right before you apply the other one, for the simple fact that it's just going to apply better, because you want to make sure it's working first of all, right? So just give it a little bit of time to dry down before you do go ahead and apply like your other primer. That's only if you double prime. Like, this is not something that you have to do. Again, this is just what I do. So I'm showing you all what I do and what I did as a beginner in makeup, and what I learned from other people that I followed and watched their tutorials. So that's just what I learned. And you do have to try different things just to know whether or not it's going to work for you, because although it may work for me, it may not work for you, and that's perfectly fine because we're not all the same, right? So definitely figure out what works for you. If you feel like you don't have like an oily T-zone, then you probably don't need to double prime. Or if you feel like, you know, I have combination oily skin, so this works for me as a combination oily skin girl. This may not work for you if you have oily skin or if you have dry skin. You do have to do your research, okay, and see what it is that does work well for you, because that's going to be very important as well. But yeah, going in with my Danessa Myrix, and honestly, y'all don't have to shake this. You just tap the bottom of it and it comes out. So the next step for me is color correcting. Everybody doesn't have to color correct. However, myself, I have to, because as you all can see, I have like dark circles under my eyes, and I don't feel like on camera you can really see my hyperpigmentation all that well, but I do have like hyperpigmentation under my chin and on my cheeks a little bit. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the Fenty Beauty Bright Fix in the shade Pumpkin. I'm also going to use a more skin tone color, which is the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and just mix them together and blend them out. With my concealers, I always let them set a little bit on the skin, because in my opinion, they blend better the longer they sit, right? So the longer they sit, the better they blend. So I'll go in with that Bright Fix first, and then I'm gonna go in with the LA Girl. And this is in the shade Fawn, because I don't think I told y'all that. And I just pretty much put them right next to each other. I know that looks kind of light, but y'all, it's gonna work, so it's okay. I'm gonna let that set for a little bit. BRB. So after I let it sit, I just grab like a little fluffy brush like this. It's an ankle fluffy brush. And I just, you know, blend this together. And again, not everybody has to do this step here, but I do, just to cover up my dark circles. So y'all see how that dark spot disappeared though? Same on this end. Got that all blended out. I'm gonna go in with this Laura Mercier translucent setting powder. This in the shade medium deep, so it's more like my skin tone. I'm gonna show y'all, try to show y'all the color without. So see, it's more brown. I take a brush like so. This is a very dense brush. Press it in. I tap off the excess and just dab that into my skin, right? Press it in. And this trick I learned from Mrs. Jackie Asamoah, formerly known as Miss Jackie Aina. Again, so I press my brush into the powder. I always tap off the excess and then press it into the skin. Okay, so y'all see how that looks more like my skin. I'm gonna show y'all a trick, right, to make sure that you maximize your products, the use of your products, right? And your products will last longer if you do this trick, I promise. I don't know exactly what it's called, but I'm gonna show y'all how to do it, okay? So first, you go in with your concealers, which I'm gonna use the Huda Beauty Faux Filter Concealers. This is in the shade Crumble and the shade Toasted Almond. And I'm gonna put the Crumble on majority of my face to highlight. So like here, 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 and here. To give my inner corner like a brighter look, I'm just gonna put the Toasted Almond there. All right, just like that. Now, this is how I do it. If you prefer it to all be like the same shade, you could just use the one shade. You don't have to do this. But I just like to do it because I like how it gives the inner corner like a brighter look. So again, we're gonna let it sit. I let it sit for about 10 minutes. So BRB. Halfway through letting my highlighting concealer dry, I'm gonna go in with my contour. Today I'm going to use the Curve Case by Made by Mitchell, which I really enjoy this curve case a lot. I'm going to use this shade here, which is the shade Shade and Laid. And I'm just going to contour, of course, like my cheeks, my nose, my forehead, as well as my chin. To do my nose, I take a small brush like this. And of course, I just dab it in there. Not too much, because this is very pigmented, of course. But just dab it in there. And just take it up like so, like that. And then I do like my nose a little bit and right here. Okay, that's how I contour my nose. I do up. I used to like bring the lines all the way down, but now I just do it like eye level and just bring it up into my eyebrows a little bit. And then I do my, like the bridge of my nose right here. And then under like the tip of my nose. I also take a little bit and put it above my lip like this. Now this trick I learned from Uche. I just take a little bit like that and then also a little bit under. Just to define my lip a little bit more. For the cheeks and the rest of my face, I use a flat brush like this. It's a flat, like, I guess, angle brush. And then, yeah, I just dip it in there like that. And bring it up. Always bring it up like that. You don't want to ever bring anything down. Like, never, like, drag it down, because then it's going to drag your face down. So you always want to blend up whatever you do to give yourself a more snatched look, right? So just up. Now you can take it all the way up into your temple if you like that. I don't always do that because sometimes, like, which I'll probably put on some blush today. But yeah, I don't typically like to do that. And then I'll just put it across my forehead like this. So, and I'm not scared for it to get like in my wig line or anything like that, because to me it just hides my lace a little better. And then of course around my jawline like this. I think I put too much, but that's okay. But yeah, just around my jawline like that, y'all. And again, always bring it up, never down. And then I sit for the remainder of 5 minutes. All right, so now it's time to blend. Okay, so when you blend out, like it's time to blend the concealer, right? So when you blend it out, use light tapping motions like this, right? Okay, so y'all see how that's blending out, right? Really light tapping motions when you're blending it out. Okay, don't, very light. And what you're going to do is you're going to make sure all your edges are blended. But not only that, you're going to marry this concealer with your contour, all right? Right on the top. So blend, blend, blend. I don't know if y'all hear them dogs barking, but my neighbors are so annoying, y'all. All of them. Okay. So you blend, 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 blend. Again, always blend everything up. Y'all see how that's married together now? And that's blended. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Light tapping motions. Like this. marry it with that contour. And make sure you bring everything up to give your face a more snatched look. Honestly, you don't have to like blend it all the way up as far under your eyes. I do only because it's going to crease. And I do this every time knowing good and well it's going to crease because, yeah, I just have creasy under eyes. Maybe I'll find a powder that doesn't crease, you know, under there, but in the meantime, it's creasy. So yeah, now that we got that blended, y'all see how well that came together and how that's blended with that contour. Now we're just gonna blend our nose, and again, light tapping motions. So whatever you do, you're gonna blend this in very lightly, right? And try to keep everything like where it is. And I know y'all probably thinking like, where the foundation come in? But I'm gonna show y'all. Okay, I'm gonna show y'all in just a moment. And I'm gonna just blend this out just a little bit, not as much as everything else. All right, so you see how everything blended. Now let's blend the contour, which I'm gonna use like a dense brush like this just to blend out my contour. And basically I just tap that in like this and just, you know, blend it out. For my nose, I take a smaller fluffy brush and just lightly still blend that up. All right, now that we got all that blended, it's time for the foundation. I'm gonna use the NARS Natural Radiant Foundation in the shade New Caledonia. And I'm gonna take this little palette again. You only need like 2 pumps. And that's why I said you're gonna get the most out of your makeup and it's gonna last longer if you do this technique, right? So I'm just gonna take a couple of pumps like so. Actually, no, I think 2 is enough. And I'm gonna take a flat concealer brush like this, or this is like a flat concealer brush like this, and just go into the foundation, right? And then I'm just gonna carve it out like this. And that shade match is so fire, period. Right, and just everywhere that I didn't do concealer or contour, that's where I put that foundation right there. And don't forget under your lips, because sometimes y'all, I'll be forgetting that part, but it's okay. But yep. And I just feel like a little bit under my neck like that. Which you're gonna always wanna put foundation on your neck, especially like if your neck is a different color, which, you know, some people's necks just are different colors than their face. So that, I don't let like my foundation sit at all. I just go ahead and blend it out. And honestly, I just tap it into the skin like that. Or like this rather. Y'all see how easy that was? And that was only 2 pumps of foundation. So that's why I said this is going to, like, you're gonna get the most out of your makeup if you do just use this technique. I promise, pinky promise actually. Once you blended everything to your desired liking, go in with some setting spray. I'm gonna use this by Charlotte Tilbury, the Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray, just to set everything in place, right? And I have a little fan, I'm just gonna dry it here. All right, so you see how good that looks already, like chef's kiss. So now I'm gonna go in with some bronzer to set like my contour. I always like to set my contour first. I never set my contour on my nose. That's just my preference. I used to, but I kind of like the look better when I don't set it. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe. I know you can't really tell, but it's Morphe, and it's the Glambronze. This is what it looks like. Of course, it's well loved. And I just take a angled brush like this, which really, this is like a blush brush. This is another Morphe brush. I don't know why it's not numbered like the other ones, but yeah. And I just, you know, everywhere where I put that bronzer or that contour, that's where I put my bronzer at, right? And again, I always blend up, never down. To set like my highlight, I'm gonna go in with this one size. This is the Turn Up the Base in the shade Medium Dark 6. It's Medium Dark 6. I don't know if the 6 really matters, but this is what it looks like on the inside. And I just take like a little fluffy brush. Actually, I'm sorry. I take another brush like this, which was the same one I used to blend out the concealer, and I just dab it in there. Of course, again, always dust off the excess and just press it into the skin like this. Oh, y'all, that's so pretty. And see, this is why I like to wait to do my lashes and stuff, because the powder and stuff tends to get in the actual lashes if I put them on before. I put a little bit on my forehead, a little bit down my nose, just a tad. So y'all see how like flawless that looks and how it's come together so well. So one thing that I like to do is put a little bit of blush, like, and typically it's like a blush lighter, and this is one of my favorite ones. This is the Fenty Beauty. This is her limited edition ones, the Hot Cheeks in the shade Baked Peach, right? So I just take a little bit, and when I say just a little bit of that, and I just put that on my cheeks just to give it a little bit more color. Now, blush isn't for everybody. I will say that when I first started doing makeup, I didn't like to wear blush, right? So that's what I mean by blush isn't for everybody, but it may be for you. So I say if you think you want to try it, always try it, because you might like it, right? But also you may start off not liking it, and then you may find a blush that you do actually like, because maybe it was just a blush that I was using the reason why I didn't like it. But I like this one, and I just to give my cheeks a little bit more color and a little bit of shine, right? Just a little bit. So that's pretty much that for the powders. If you want, one thing that you can do is put some like translucent powder on top of that as well. I'll go ahead and do that for you all today. I'm gonna use the one size translucent powder, just a little bit, because I really kind of like how this looks already. So I'm gonna use just a little bit of that. I'm gonna take this fluffy brush to do that. Always tap off that excess. And just let that sit for a little bit, and then we're gonna dust that off. Just take like I said, a little, or I'm just dust that off, and I'm just use a little brush like this, just to brush that off. Y'all, that looks so pretty. Just to set everything in place, now I recently started using this. I heard a lot of rave about it, and at first I didn't like it, but then I tried it again because I think maybe, I don't know, but I like it now. So we're gonna spray this just to set everything in place. And it's a great, affordable, you know, setting spray. So yeah, that's pretty much how I do my face, how I do my base and everything like that for my soft glam. I know that may have seemed like a lot of steps, but honestly, you just gotta put that makeup on, babe. Like, you know, I'm not a no makeup type of girly. Quite frankly, I don't feel like I have the skin for that. Not saying that my skin is bad. It's just I have hyperpigmentation. So I don't feel like my skin is the right type of skin for that. However, you know, if that's what you like, then by all means, you may want to find a tutorial that fits your need better. But as far as like a soft glam for me, this is my go-to. I love it. As y'all can see, everything came together flawlessly. So yeah, for lashes today, I'm gonna use a simple lash. Y'all, I got these lashes off of Amazon, quite frankly. Yeah, and they work really well for me. That's just me though. But yeah, I got these lashes off of Amazon. Very inexpensive lashes, and you get a lot for the cost, in my opinion. But yeah, so this is just a wispy lash. Of course, you choose whatever lashes you like. I do also have like some half lashes. I do also have like half lashes, but like I said, we're gonna use these today. Just because that's the look that is given. Show y'all this trick, but I'm not gonna say this is necessarily a trick for beginners. But I'm gonna show y'all what I do. Basically, I just outline under like my I outline my tight line. And then I'm gonna go in with some mascara. Now first, cause let me back up. I'm sorry, y'all. First, what you need is, of course, you need some lashes. You need some tweezers. I like the angled tweezers like this. And then you may need some scissors. It just depends. You also need lash glue. This is my favorite one, which is the Duo. I really like the black one better, but hey, that's the one that was in stock at the time. So the reason why I say you may need scissors is because I don't know if y'all can tell, but it's like a little, I don't know how to tell it, but it's like a little, the strip hangs off a little more. Now some people may have their lashes done. I don't like getting my lashes done, quite frankly, because I be wanting to pull them out. So it's just no point, especially if I gotta pay for them. If somebody else paying for them, then okay, but I'm not doing that if I gotta pay for that, because it's just a waste. But yeah, you just cut that excess strip off, and then this is the easiest way for me to do my lashes. I know sometimes people apply the glue to the actual lid. I go ahead and apply the glue on the lashes, and while I'm applying my mascara, it's just drying down, right? So that's how I do that. So I'm gonna use the Tartelette Tube Mascara. And I'm just gonna put a couple of coats of this on. And this is why I wait, because you're gonna have to spray all that and stuff, and I just don't like to spray and have my mascara and stuff wet on my face. So yeah. Just do the other eye. And like I said, I just do a couple of coats of this. The next eye is the same thing, look down. Always start in the inner corner. Then I bring it at an angle along with that wing liner. And that works perfectly for me every time. Every time. And it gives me the fanned out look that I like. I'm just gonna take a paper towel like so and get that balm. I had some lip balm on my lips because I hate dry lips. But I'm gonna use the and you know what, so with this type of look, you can either do like a pink, like a nudie pink lip, or like a nudie brown lip. I think today I'm gonna do like a nudie brown lip. So, and all these lip lip products are by Sephora. But don't worry, because I'm gonna list everything down below anyway. But so this is the Sephora Rouge Gel Liner in the shade Molasses. Y'all, I tried to get this during the savings event. They done sold it out, so I had to get a different one, but I'm excited to try the other one that I got. But this is in the shade Molasses. Now, depending on how you want your lips to look, you can overline your lips. Me, I feel like I have a nice size, you know, set of lips, so, you know, I'm just gonna overline just a little bit. And I just kind of pat my lips together like that. Then I'm gonna go in with the Sephora, the cream lip stain. This in the shade 66. I think that's 66. Baby, that's either 66 or 99. But I think it's 66. Like that. And then we're gonna top it off with the Sephora lip plumper, the Outrageous Plump Effect in the shade 2. Fire. And if you really want to get groovy with it, you could take the Fenty Heat. This in the shade Hot Chocolate. And just go over that liner. How pretty is that? Like what? What? I look good, boo. I don't care. That's it. Fire. And that's my step-by-step tutorial on like makeup for beginners. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I hope it was easy to follow. Again, I know it's a lot of steps, but I use a lot of makeup because I like a lot of makeup. And you know, just because you use a lot of makeup don't mean that you're hiding anything or anything like that, any insecurities or anything like that. Although, I ain't gonna lie, I was hiding them dark spots, but you know, that's my business. I still feel like I'm a baddie without the makeup. So, you know, it's all about how it makes you feel. Makeup is supposed to be fun, and yeah. That was definitely fun. And I like how the look came out. I hope y'all try this look and I hope it works for y'all. If y'all have enjoyed this series and y'all want to see more series like this, please let me know down in the comments. Matter of fact, even if you don't, just leave your girl a comment and hit the like button. Also, don't forget to follow. And I hope to talk to y'all soon. I love you. Bye.